What's going on, everyone? It has been a long time since we've played Chirrut. Honestly, I think it was back in set 1, but today we are trying to make some control players rage just a little bit with Chirrut Yellow, and of course, try to win some games. Otherwise, we've got a fun list played or prepared for today. Before we dive into it, big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. I actually created this list for one of the patron streams. One of the other patrons in there, we were laughing about it, but we had some good times in that already, so thank you for supporting. But what do we got going on with Chirrut? Well, for those of you that do not remember, way back in the day, back in set 1, Chirrut was the default force leader because it was the earliest to deploy force leader that we had, and he could not be defeated by normal damage. So you can take down him, you can, rivals follow him and all that other stuff, but you couldn't actually kill him through damaging means, which means that if you're playing like Chirrut Red, you could guarantee force throw, guarantee forces with me, it binds all things, these types of really powerful force payoffs. Nowadays, that's not really something that we care about. However, there are some decks out there that are really, really good for Chirrut to come up against. For example, Chirrut can't die from indirect damage. So if you're fighting against Boba Data Vault, you can just load up on a bunch of damage on Chirrut and then heal him up with things like it binds all things, or just put upgrades on him to prevent him from dying, and that can save you a lot of HP. And open fires or force throws or all that type of stuff don't really work up against Chirrut all that well. Yes, it can work if we don't have the healing or anything like that, or if we don't have upgrades to put on him. But on top of that, if they, let's say, don't have that and they're going to go with the power of the dark side, the merciless contest types of things, we have shadowed intentions in the main board. So we got a full 3 of. We're going to be loading up some upgrades on a bunch of units. On top of that, we are playing, as much as I can, a couple shielded units. Things like Secretive Sage, Iterant Warrior, or even Forces with me. Try to put shields on things to prevent things like Force Lightning and Force Through and Open Fires to kill off our units. So whole game plan, load up on upgrades, smack face, and win the game that way. If our opponent's going to ignore our strategy, we've got a lot of restoring. We got multiple devotions, we've got constructed lightsabers in the main deck, yaddles, all of which to help us kind of stay in the game and prevent us from getting overwhelmed by just straight up damage. Even the action to give +0/+2 can be relevant in certain circumstances, especially if you start off with something like a Yaddle and you just go use Chirrut's action on turn 2. The open fires like Boba Data Vault are going to be using, you can absorb the 4 damage and the extra damage indirect damage is going to deal to you and still get an attack with Yaddle, which is extremely, extremely nice to be able to kind of leverage that in this specific circumstance. So we're going to see what we can do. I don't expect us to win every game, but I do expect us to make some people real sad when we have the main deck shadowed intentions. Let's dive into it. Well, would you look at that? We've got ourselves an Akbar Green, which is probably the matchup we wanted to see the least, as this matchup is all about them exhausting our units. And we mulligan the first hand because it was pretty weak. We wanted to get some units down. And of course, we end up with an even weaker hand. So I don't think Shadow Intentions is going to be all that great. I also don't think Chirrut's going to be all that great because they're going to go more space focused. So we're just going to resource those. And then we're going to hope that my opponent kind of has nothing, but I'm expecting them to have a play on turn 1. Yep, they've got Alliance X-Wing. We're going to claim initiative. Real sad to be able to do that. And we're just going to go with Vernestra on turn 2. It's not even an Ezra Bridger. I mean, this is like the worst thing that we could possibly have happened. You find yourself up against a deck that really doesn't actually care about your whole shenanigans going on, and is just going to be putting a bunch of space units in the sky, and then they can just exhaust all of the various upgrades that we place on our units. So, of course, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's just go ahead and... what do we want to do here? I think we'll go ahead and +0/+2 on the Vernestra, mainly because I'm looking to heal up some damage off this Iterant Warrior when I play it. They have a Chewbacca. Jeez. All right, we're just gonna play the Iterant Warrior, no value. What an incredible hand for them. It's not really that incredible, to be honest. It's a good hand, and my opponent has a good hand and we do not. But let's go ahead and resource the Trust Your Instincts. I'm kind of worried about the game here. I mean, I don't think we win at all. This, like I said, a player that's going to be exhausting all our units is like the worst case scenario. That is not what we want to see whatsoever. So we'll see if we can make it, but I'm not really all that hopeful. We're going to go Devotion on Chirrut, but they can just exhaust it if they want. Death Space Skirmisher. All right. We'll concede. We don't have an answer to the Chewbacca. GG to my opponent. You know, you load up a game and you're like, we're going to deal with all these controlling decks, and you fight up against the exhaust, bounce, Ghost Space deck. Sometimes that just happens, guys. Sometimes that just happens. And like I said, as soon as I lit up against Akbar Green, I was like, oh, dang. If there was one deck that I really didn't want to fight, it is this exact one. So fair enough to our opponent. You got us. Alrighty, we got next matchup here. I mean, this is okay, but it's not great. I mean, Grogu can be okay, but I think we can do a little bit better. Of course, we get the all... Man, we... This is not really what I want to see, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to resource... I think Shatterpoint's going to be really good here. They're going to go Volptix. We're going to claim. We have nothing to play. We're going to resource this Grogu. But as I was saying, I mean, we do have 12... You know, we have 13 turn 1 play, so it's unlikely for us to miss like that. But, you know, sometimes it happens. We're going to claim initiative here. We're going to attack in for 3. They'll do whatever they want to do here with their plays. They've got an Ezra, so I will go ahead and attack and kind of finish off the Ezra or the Volptix. I don't think we want that to be sticking around here. We can use Shatterpoint to deal with another unit, or we can just play out Chirrut. They got Kanan. We will go Shatterpoint or just Chirrut here. I'm kind of interested in going Chirrut, because Chirrut's going to only allow us to take 1 damage here, and we can claim. And we've got It Binds All Things. Ooh, that's a nice draw, and so is Trust Your Instincts. Wow, there's a lot of good options here. I mean, I think we just kill off Ezra, and then if my opponent goes with a shield token on Kanan, then that's great, because then we just Shatterpoint it, right? If my opponent goes with an attack, they'll take 3 damage on it. We could It Binds All Things. Oh, this is fantastic. Boom, delete. Just delete it. Get it out of here. Fantastic. That's exactly what I was kind of considering. But we had so many good options there that were all going to kind of work out for us. Let's just go with, you know, +2, +0, +2 to Chirrut here. We deploy our own Chirrut. We attack in. We go attack again, and then we'll just pass. We don't really need to do anything too special here. We'll resource the Grogu. We can't go It Binds All Things on that turn because we only have the 1 resource. My opponent, we'll see what they decide to do here. I know I resourced the other Shatterpoint. I'm kind of regretting that, but okay. I mean, I'm gonna go It Binds All Things, heal up 3 from Mr. Chirrut here, and that's gonna give us a really nice option here in this game, because now Chirrut's back down to very, very, very solid amount of HP. And we're just going to be able to go to town here. I think we're just going to go Constructed Lightsaber on Chirrut, because we do want to generate the Force here. We'll see what they decide to do with Kanan's deploy here. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to attack him with Vernestra here. If they want to attack, we will... Ooh, there's a Doom, huh? I mean, I think in this spot, we'll go Trust Your Instincts, knock out the Doom, restore 2. And then we will shrink down, make sure that we can get in for 3 here. And I mean, that's like a fantastic turnaround, right? Doom is good. Doom is certainly good, but not exactly, I think, what they're looking for here. And I'm going to go resource the Shadowed Intentions. I know they could have Rivals Fall, which would really stink. But I think they're putting on a lot of pressure, and I don't think we can afford to go Shadowed Intentions and like Chirrut and kind of sit behind that. Okay, they have Anakin, which is going to be pretty good. I think in this spot, what I will do is just hit base. Like, I think I could just ignore all these units here. We just hit base. We'll hit base again. Like, they can do all this nonsense, but I mean, we will just heal up. I mean, everything they've done has been pretty much negated here. We'll pass. Forces with me, Devotion, Vernestra, all fantastic pickups. I mean, I think they just hit units. Like, I think they're trying to ignore my units because they want to go wide and they want to play this Doom and go with this huge board. But I think they're just kind of in that position where they need to be dealing with some units and they're just conceding. So, okay, not bad. That's what we wanted to do. Not the Akbar matchup. All right, we've got the next one up, and it is a Data Vault Han. So I'm not really sure what to expect, but I do like double Secretive Sage. I'm going to resource one of them because I'm going to go Secretive Sage turn 1 and then Secretive Sage turn 2. And they're going to draw Wolfpack Escort, which seems pretty good here. I'm going to claim initiative, and I think I might just, instead of doing what I was going to do before, I think I may just go with Hotshot Blaster and knock out your unit. And the reason I'm doing this is so that they can't draw a million different cards and constantly get value. But more importantly, Shadowed Intentions, probably something I don't really care about. Oh. Let's start with a +0/+2 on Secretive Sage. I don't like where the game is at right now. Okay, they're going to do that. That means I'm going to go Devotion. So I was deciding whether or not I was going to go Jedi Lightsaber. If I go Jedi Lightsaber first, they probably just clone Deserter, kill my Secretive Sage, right? But now I can kill off their clone Deserter, restore 2, so I get the value from that, and then I can still play Yaddle afterwards. And then I also have the, Shatter Point to knock out something off their units, which is going to be pretty nice. We even have the constructed lightsaber, which I do quite like as well. And I might instead go with that, but we will see here what I would like to do. I mean, I like the Internet Warrior. I think Jedi Lightsaber is going to be pretty weak. And I think here we just go with Shatter Point, defeat the Cartel Turncoat, draw a card. And the reason I'm doing this is because right now Han can't pilot onto Wolfpack Escort, but he could have piloted onto Cartel Turncoat. So I'm just going to kind of go with the highest value play here. They are still able to pilot and get a lot of value here for sure. But we have a lot of restoration going on, so I do like that. Spare the target. I mean, spare the target's good, don't get me wrong. Get in for 3 or 4. Pass. Another Shadowed Intentions. A lot of Internet Warriors. Not something I really want to see right now. I'm really looking for other options. Spare the Target was a fantastic pickup. They had a great answer to what we were kind of doing here. Sanctioner Shuttle, steal the Yaddle. I mean, that's good. We're going to go Internet Warrior, heal 3. Attack for 4. Play a Secretive Sage. Pass. We got Constructed Lightsaber and another Yaddle. So I get a double Constructed Lightsaber. Yeah, we're just going to risk it. We need to be able to risk it here. Chewbacca. Yeah, we're going to attack in for 6. Restore 2. Oh, we're not going to make it. Heal 3. They should just claim initiative here. What can we draw? Too many pilots. They had the perfect combination of cards. The Sanctioner Shuttle. Let's see. What can we do? What can we do? I don't think we have any answers to this. We'll just get in some damage. Good game to my opponent. They had a great combination of cards. They had to spare the target for our Restorer, which is kind of something that we were kind of trying to rely on. And then they had the Sanctioner Shuttle as well as another pilot, which was just literally as good as it gets in terms of what we wanted to avoid. Also, the Millennium Falcon, an immediately readied up option to put Han on. That was kind of everything went really, really excellently for them to where we just couldn't get there. We just couldn't get there. If we had more devotions, maybe, but it would have been tricky. Alrighty, into the next one, and let's see what we want to do here. I'm going to resource the Constructed Lightsaber in this matchup. I'm a little bit more worried about, like, that. That's what I'm more worried about, to be honest. Let's go ahead and claim initiative here. We got another constructed lightsaber. I think forces with me is actually going to be pretty good here. I'm going to actually resource this for Nestra, and I will go Jedi lightsaber. I'm going to try to knock out their units here. They are not going to have many ways to deal with a shielded 5/5 unit right now, even if they do use Jedi Consular. So I am totally okay with just loading up the Jedi lightsaber, and the next turn I'll have the force is with me, so we'll be able to kind of take advantage of that as well. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they could have like a blue leader here, or Chewbacca or something. I don't know. I don't know what could be the worst here for 5 resources. Yeah, Obi-Wan's really not that scary because we're gonna kill off Obi-Wan here, and then we have Chirrut next turn. All right, let's see what they're gonna do here. Hotshot Blaster immediately resourced. Do I just want to power this up again? I feel like Force Throw is the only way we lose. So I'm just going to power this up and knock out the Jedi Consular. Again, I think Force Throw is like literally the only way we lose. And so I don't really see a problem with just loading up Secretive Sage with another shield token and knocking out their Force unit in one fell swoop. Sorceress Blast is a way to deal with a shield token. They can play a unit and get something down afterwards and kind of do something there, but I am totally okay with this. Let's go ahead and get rid of this Ezra. I'm going to deploy Chirrut here, and then we'll see what they deploy afterwards. Sorceress Blast, deal with the shield token. That is one way. That's step 1, at least. Step 1. Secretive Sage is looking good right now, and we have multiple ways to hopefully deal with what they've got in their hand. If they have a unit and we kill it, and they have another unit and a Force Throw, that means they're empty-handed by the time we are done with them, right? Because they need to Force Throw this. It's like the only way they can deal with it in their deck. So I'm totally happy with kind of where we're at. Grogu is a decent pickup here. Shadowed Intentions, again, I don't really see my opponent using like defeat something type effects. So I'm okay with that. We have Hotshot Blaster in the resource pile. We can go another constructed lightsaber and Hotshot this turn, which I am pretty interested in doing. But this Jedi lightsaber, it is making some rounds today. Making some rounds. I love it. I love it. Let's see what my opponent's got as a follow-up. The other reason why I'm thinking about this is because, like, usually these decks, these force-based decks, are going to play a ton of space units. Timely Kiadi. Are they going to hit Grogu? They're going to hit Secretive Sage. Okay. I guess they have, like, maybe another Sorceress Blast or something. I don't really know, but I'm okay with that. I'm just going to hit for 7. Let's go Constructed Lightsaber, and let's go Hotshot Blaster for 9. Pass. We'll keep the Chirrut, the Night Sister Warrior, and the Trust Your Instincts. We have lethal with multiple different things right now, so don't really see a way out for my opponent. This Jedi lightsaber just dominated the board, right? Like every single play they had to make was super awkward. Like Timely Kiadi is not what you want to be doing. Sorceress Blast on a just a shield is not what you want to be doing. Like everything that they kind of did here was just a little bit weak. Let's just go ahead and knock out the Obi-Wan. They had triple Obi-Wan, triple Sentinel here, which is kind of crazy, but Jedi Temple Guards coming in, not going to do it. They can knock out the Secretive Sage, but we just kill them. GG. Not exactly a close one. Jedi Lightsaber just dominated that game. Into our next matchup, no turn 1 plays. Got a mulligan up against Sabine, but it's Sabine Echo Base, which is not something that I typically would be expecting to be all that powerful. I do like the Yaddle on turn 1. That's a nice play to have, so I'm happy about that. We do have the Devotion. Actually, you know what? I think we're just going to go with Ezra. Gray Squadron Y-Wing. We can take a little bit of extra damage into our base. Get the Force here. Play Ezra. Chewbacca, huh? All right, we're going to still play Ezra, but we will take some damage here on the Yaddle, I think. And then we'll claim initiative. It binds all things. Looks decent. Resource the other Ezra. I will get an immediate attack in with Ezra. Do I want to be playing Vernestra? I don't think so. I think I'll just discard that one. We'll deal 2 to our Ezra. We'll play a devotion here. Nice little restoration for the Sabine. I will hit Sabine. Get the restore 3 in. Dark Saber, huh? Let's heal 3, deal 3 to the Sabine. They're going to get in for 6, but I mean, we are going to start restoring a lot, and I'm kind of okay with that. Oh, they're just going to... Wow, okay. I mean, that kind of works. I'm surprised that they decided to go with that, but I mean, I guess I'm not super surprised. Huh, interesting. Okay. Let's just start with an Ezra attack, see what I got. Ooh, I do like Yaddle. I'm actually going to play that off the top. Because we do have Hotshot Blaster here, so I can play Chirrut. We will take 2 to the Yaddle. Deploy Chirrut. Man, if this was an A-Wing, we would have had 6 more damage in our base. It's crazy. Chewbacca is obnoxious, for sure. For sure, up against us, it is obnoxious. But I mean, we aren't in a bad spot. I like the Iterant Warrior. K2, huh? I mean, I will knock out that K2 here. I don't want them dealing 4 to our base. And we have to deal with K2 eventually, so we'll deal with it now. Pass. Ooh, fantastic pickup. That's exactly what I kind of want to see. We can play Devotion and Iterant Warrior or Construct a Lightsaber and Devotion this turn, which is going to be a pretty big swing because we can drop those on Chirrut. And again, Sabine will have no way to knock out Chirrut except for like a Wrecker, and that's damage based. So we can kind of guarantee Hotshot Blaster going to be the one down here. That's okay. I think are going to start off with an attack with Ezra. Shadowed Intentions, don't care about it. We can discard that. We'll take 2 on our Chirrut, which might be awkward, but Chirrut's not going to die from that because we're going to pump him up, so we may as well take the extra damage. Hopefully they don't have another Disabling Fang Fighter. Okay, they used the Sabine action. We'll restore 1. That's an A-Wing. We're going to go Devotion. That's going to be heal 4. That's going to be pretty powerful. Heal 4. Pass. Another Constructed Lightsaber and a Trust Your Instincts. I don't think Shatterpoint's going to be all that relevant here. Because they have to have a Disabling Fang Fighter here. And even if they do, we still get there. Because they can't deal with Chirrut this turn because he lives. Because of the damage. Doesn't kill him. Heroic Sack, sure, get in some damage. But we will just go Trust Your Instincts and finish out the game. GG! All right, they didn't have ECL, which is what I would be more scared of, to be honest. But still, not a bad game. Alrighty, into the next one, and we've got ourselves an okay hand here. No, it's pretty bad. Just Night Sister Warrior. We can't keep that, can we? I was like trying to justify it in my head, and I was like, yeah, this isn't justifiable, guys. It's just not. Okay. Bolstered Endurance, I think is reasonable to resource here. We have the Grogu, which looks pretty decent up against what my opponent's got, which is the Han Green over there. We'll see what they've got. I kind of want to attack in with the Grogu so I can generate the Force, but we'll see. They're going to resupply on turn 1. Okay, yeah, resupply is pretty decent. I think that's probably one of the better options they could be doing here. Shadowed Intentions. I mean, I don't think they're going to have a way to really deal with my units here, so I think I'm just going to go with the lightsaber on Grogu. I am recording, my friend. All right, another resupply. Oh, they defeated the resupply. Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna go +0/+2 here. Just to stall an action. I think my opponent's gonna want to do something this turn. Okay, we will go Jedi Lightsaber on the Grogu then. Wow, that's a fat Grogu. I'm expecting them to have like waylays and stuff. So, you know, not ideal to have to do all this, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Like, I'm expecting waylay, so we'll see. All right, they did not, so I will just go ahead and heal 3, you know, get the value out of the Force unit for now, and then we will see what we decide to do with Grogu. I wouldn't be surprised if they just decided to, actually, you know what? Let's just give +0/+2 to Grogu. If they decide to deploy Han and do all their Han stuff, If they do deploy Han, I think I will just exhaust it so that they can't get a 7 drop down this turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and exhaust the Han. So they can't get a 7 drop down this turn. They're going to claim initiative. So they basically did nothing that turn, which is kind of what we wanted, right? That's great. That's what we wanted. So happy about that. We can go Hotshot Blaster on Iterant Warrior to deal with the Han and knock him out. U-Wing reinforcements. Wow, they had U-Wing reinforcements. Yeah, definitely a good play to just, you know, kill off or prevent them from, you know, doing anything on that turn with their 7 resources. We have another U-Wing reinforcements coming into play. That could be scary, but to be honest, I mean, I'm not super worried about it because we do have a nice board in the ground arena. They had double U-Wing reinforcements. Well, I'm happy we're not going to get completely devastated here. Interesting. Well, I think what I'll do here is play out the Night Sister Warrior. I will attack the Han, give it -2. And then I will deploy the Chirrut and knock out the Han and then pass. Devotion, Shatterpoint, both solid. Guarding the Will is kind of weak. So now if they deploy Han, they knock out Grogu, like, for sure. Because if they attack Chirrut, they're still going to get damaged. So there's no reason to do that. Well, they had another U-Wing reinforcements. That is insane. All right. Let's go with an attacking with Chirrut here. Just get in for 3. I can put Devotion on a couple different things, so I'm not really too worried about that. All right, so now I'm going to go Devotion on Grogu. Hopefully they don't have a Waylay. Okay, they're just going to play a bunch of units here. In that case, then I'll attack. Actually, we're going to still attack in with the Night Sister Warrior here. Millennium Falcon. All right, we will use the Force to defeat the Millennium Falcon. We'll get in for 4, restore 2, pass. There's a Chirrut. I mean, I don't think Chirrut's all that powerful here. I think I'd rather just go Iterant Warrior plus Vernestra. You know, kind of double use the Force this turn, assuming I can. That's a lot of space units. So my opponent had a really nice 7-drop curve, and then they just drew every space unit imaginable, and they're going to try to rush this down that way. Han Solo, get in some damage, sure. I mean, I think we just go Vernestra here, ready her up, and then we'll be able to get in a bunch of damage and reduce some restoring. So we're going to attack, restore 2, attack. Let's see what else they have. They have a tech. All right. Tech's not as scary. We will play the Iterant Warrior, do some healing again, pass. There's another Chirrut. There's a Secretive Sage. And now we have the Hotshot Blaster to win the game with a Grogu attack or an Iterant Warrior attack. So I'm pretty confident this is GG. Definitely a nice Grogu showing there by exhausting that Han. U-Wing reinforcements was not that great because they just got Han Solo. I think I'd be more scared of multiple units, especially if it's like multiple space units. Because we combat space by healing it. That's kind of our game plan, as you've seen from multiple games now. That's kind of the game plan, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. They're gonna tech. I mean, that doesn't really work. We just go Hotshot Blaster and knock in for 6. GG. Not bad, not bad. Happy about that one. Pretty good. Alrighty, we've got the initiative up against the Han Solo deck. I'm going to keep this. This seems like a very reasonable hand. I will resource the Night Sister Warrior and probably the Constructed Lightsaber. I'm going to go Yaddle, and I will go Jedi Lightsaber here. I'm not super excited about it. They have Secretive Sage. We'll claim. I mean, they could have Force Throw here, and we are reasonably sad, to be honest. But is there a lot we can do about it? Not really. Like, we could have played Vernestra this turn, yes, but I don't think we're winning if we play Vernestra. I just don't think we are. winning at all. We will go ahead and knock out the Secretive Sage, and if they do go with like Ki-Adi-Mundi here, that's great because we can knock out Ki-Adi-Mundi as well. And we'll be totally happy with that. Ki-Adi-Mundi, they have draw some cards. Good. This is kind of what we wanted. This is definitely up our alley, because now we can knock out the Ki-Adi-Mundi, and you know, basically we traded 2 for 2. If they have a way to deal with this Yaddle, that is totally fine for us. I think we will just play our own Chirrut. And then we'll pass. Shadowed Intentions looks pretty good. I kind of want to drop Shadowed Intentions on the Yaddle here, but we'll see what they have. They have no force here, so they're probably encouraged to attack. We'll see what they decide to do. Owen Lars. I'm just going to attack the Chirrut then. Finish off the Chirrut. Seems pretty good. They got another Chirrut. Another one. Not bad. But we have Forces With Me or Trust Your Instincts. I think we'll go with Forces With Me just to put on pressure to our opponent here. And then we will deploy the Han. Or the Chirrut, rather. And we can attack the base. Another Shadowed Intentions. I mean, that's a lot of Shadowed Intentions, to be honest. And they could have Fell the Dragons, which is kind of something I was a little bit worried about, but I don't even know if I care about that at this point. Let's see what they get. They got Yaddle. All right, I think we will start loading these guys up with like Shadowed Intentions. They could have Anakin, which would be pretty good, but I mean, now we can kind of go to town with them not having Fell the Dragon to deal with these units. Rebellious Hammerhead and Force Throw are still options that they could have. So that is something to think about, but I'm pretty happy with where we're at now. Rivals Fall. Yep. Who would have expected anything else? It's kind of why we did the Shadowed Intentions thing. I mean, they could deploy Han, but I mean, they have to attack our Chirrut. And I don't know if that's really what they want to be doing anyways. Iterant Warrior, I mean, another Shadowed Intentions could be okay, but I think we got it on our Chirrut. We're just going to have to trust that Chirrut's able to get there here. They could have Luke. Luke doesn't really do a crazy amount here. And we can go construct a Lightsaber plus Shatterpoint on the Luke. So if they have like Luke, I'm not worried at all. Crate Dragon, also not really a big worry. Yep, they're going to do exactly that, which is play a Luke. We're going to go construct a lightsaber, which is going to be like more Sentinel. It's going to be Sentinel to Sentinel. I could have gone construct a lightsaber on Chirrut, I suppose, but it's not like it really matters. We'll go ahead and give -2/-0. They're going to attack. That's fine. I could do a couple different things. I can Shatterpoint. I guess I can't go Trust Your Instincts and Iterant Warrior, so I should just go Shatterpoint. Yeah, let's attack in for 6. Attack in for 3. Shatterpoint. Defeat the Luke. Pass. I mean, guys, are we just dominating the Han Blue? Are we just dominating? Ooh, man, Jedi Lightsaber's been so good in all these games. Not bad at all. Very, very solid work. Good game. All right, everyone. Well, we didn't fight against any like super hard control decks, but like Han Blue is an example. You know, decks that are looking to leverage Fell the Dragon Rivals Fall. That Shadowed Intentions in that last game was clutch. They were sitting on the Rivals Fall. We put a Shadowed Intentions on our Chirrut. That thing's massive. There's no way they're getting through that. Luke doesn't kill it. Crate Dragon doesn't even kill it at some points. I mean, it is so awesome to see. We had a couple games where we got absolutely demolished, like our first one up against Akbar. We just got absolutely murdered. Of course, we can't really deal with getting exhausted every single turn. And even so, they didn't even really need to do that to really mess us up. It was just the idea of us putting upgrades and stuff was absolutely horrible. And then, of course, there were some matchups that were really close. The restoration plan did work well, but that Shadowed Intentions and Chirrut in general, I mean, this deck actually did some good work in a lot of those games. The absolute all-star of every single matchup, the ones that we won really hard, was Jedi Lightsaber. No questions asked. Against that Avar Chris deck, it was just done. Like, it was over on turn 2. And Han Solo, honestly, the Jedi Lightsaber did some massive work. Killed the Secretive Sage, killed the Ki-Adi-Mundi. And even if they had Fell the Dragon instead of playing Ki-Adi-Mundi, I mean, that's still decent, right? It's still 2 for 2 in terms of what we accomplished, which is totally fine. So yeah, Jedi Lightsaber was absolutely clutch. We potentially could have gone with more devotions. That was one thing that I was kind of considering. There were some matchups where if we did have a little bit more restore or the ability to kind of load them up on Chirrut, you know, it would have been really nice. It's one of the reasons why we're playing Constructed Lightsaber as well, because you get a little bit of extra stats and you get the restoration, restore 2, which is really, really nice. So I do like that. But honestly, devotion was pretty clutch in a lot of these games. Overall, it was awesome. Like, this list was a ton of fun. It was nice to be back to Chirrut. And there were some situations we didn't get to fight against Boba Green, but Boba Green is one of those matchups where it's actually really I wouldn't say favored because the deck's really good, but it's one of those decks where we actually have a surprisingly decent matchup up against it, because when we do deploy Chirrut, it's around the time when Boba Fett does have like Overwhelming Barrage, the Flip Turn, the Ruthless Raiders, all that stuff, and a lot of indirect damage to be dealt. And Chirrut's gonna live through all that, right? So Chirrut's gonna live through all that and then be able to attack it regardless. And if you do happen to have like It Binds All Things, it can be really, really useful. One of the other cards that I was kind of considering was the new heal from set 5, which I forget the name of. I think it's Cure Wounds or something like that. But the Legends card with Bastel on the art, like heal 8. I was considering putting like a 2 of in this deck. I think that actually would have been pretty solid. And, you know, healing Chirrut massive amounts by taking a bunch of damage on it could have been relevant in some of the games, for sure. And you know, maybe you just go Covert Strength and just play that instead as a nice way to get some more value out of your smuggle pile. But honestly, I mean, every single card here kind of played a role in each of the games, especially Chirrut's, especially Jedi Lightsabers and Secretive Sage. All 3 of those were absolutely incredible. You could maybe omit the Trust Your Instincts for some more upgrades, because honestly, we didn't get that much value out of that in any of the games, but it was a fun deck nonetheless. And I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.